The moment Wesley handed me that prenup, I knew our fairy tale was actually a horror story. But here's the thing about horror stories. Sometimes the monster doesn't realize it's not the scariest thing in the room. My name is Lana, and this is how I turned my dream wedding into my fiancé's worst nightmare. Just 30 minutes earlier, I'd been standing in the bridal suite, watching my reflection in the full-length mirror. The dress was perfect ivory silk that cost more than my first car. My best friend Bella adjusted my veil, her hands steady even though I could see worry in her eyes. "Are you sure about this?" she whispered. I nodded, checking my lipstick one last time. They think I'm just the naive girl who got lucky with their precious son. Let them keep thinking that. The cathedral was packed with Atlanta's elite old money, new money, and people who'd sold their souls to get close to both. The string quartet played Pachelbel's canon as I stood at the back of the church, my bouquet trembling slightly in my hands. That's when Wesley appeared beside me, looking handsome in his tuxedo, but with something cold in his eyes I'd never seen before. "We need to talk," he said, grabbing my elbow and pulling me into a side room. "Now we're about to sign this." He thrust a leather folder at me. "It's just a formality. Mother's insisting." I opened it, pretending to scan the pages with growing confusion. The prenup was exactly what Bella had warned me about 2 months ago. Clauses designed to strip me of everything right down to my own company if we ever divorced. I'd have to sign an NDA. I wouldn't even be allowed to speak about the marriage without their approval. "Wesley," I said softly, "what is this?" "It's protection for both of us." His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Just sign it, baby. The guests are waiting." I closed the folder. "And if I don't?" "Then there won't be a wedding." He shrugged as if he wasn't destroying everything we'd built. "It's your choice, but make it quick. We're already running late." I could hear the choir starting to sing. 300 guests shifting in their seats. Karen, his mother, probably wondering what was keeping us. "You're right," I said, reaching into my bouquet where Bella had hidden a similar folder. "We should protect ourselves." Wesley's confident smile faltered as I handed him my own prenup. "What's this?" "Just a formality," I echoed his words. "Sign mine and I'll sign yours." He opened it and I watched his face drain of color as he read. His hand started shaking. "This is impossible," he stuttered. "How did you find out?" I finished for him. "About the bet with Kenny, about your mother's investigation into my family, or about how you and the board have been using this wedding to cover up the company's irregularities." Wesley's eyes darted to the door, but I stepped closer, my voice barely above a whisper. "Sign it, Wesley. The guests are waiting." "You don't understand what you're doing," he hissed. I smiled, feeling the weight of 2 months of planning, of rage, of perfect patience, finally lifting. "Oh, but I do, and so will everyone else in about 20 minutes. The choir's voices swelled through the wooden door. Wesley looked down at my prenup again, sweat beading on his forehead. "Wait," he said, his voice cracking. "How did you find out?" I adjusted my veil, checked my lipstick in a nearby mirror, and turned back to him with the same sweet smile I'd worn when he proposed. "Sign first," I said. "Then I'll tell you exactly how your perfect plan fell apart." 2 months before the wedding, I was living in a bubble of blissful ignorance. That bubble burst on a random Tuesday when Bella burst into my office, her face pale as a ghost. "Cancel your lunch," she said, closing my door. "We need to talk." I looked up from my laptop. "I'm meeting Wesley's mom to discuss flower arrangements." "That's exactly why we need to talk." Bella pulled out her phone. "I was at Starbucks near their law firm this morning. Karen and Wesley were there at the next table. They didn't see me." My stomach dropped at her tone. "What did you hear?" "They're planning to blindside you with a prenup at the wedding." Bella's hands were shaking. Karen said, and I quote, "The closer to the ceremony, the more pressure she'll feel to sign." I sat back, my engagement ring suddenly feeling heavy on my finger. That's That can't be right. Wesley would have told me. There's more. Bella leaned forward. They were talking about using your company as some kind of shield for their family business. Karen called it a strategic alliance. The room seemed to spin. I'd built my marketing firm from nothing, working 16-hour days, sacrificing everything. Wesley had always said he loved my ambition, my independence. I need proof, I whispered. Already on it. Bella pulled out a business card. This is Marcus. He's a private investigator I used in my divorce case. He's discreet, thorough, and owes me a favor. That afternoon, I canceled lunch with Karen, claiming a client emergency. Instead, I met Marcus in a quiet cafe downtown. It'll take time, he warned. These people know how to cover their tracks. I have 2 months, I said, sliding him a check. Make it count. The next week was torture. I played the happy bride-to-be tasting cakes and reviewing seating charts while Marcus dug deeper. Wesley noticed nothing amiss. He was too busy with urgent meetings that always seemed to include his mother. Then the first email arrived. Marcus had accessed Karen's private account through some method he assured me was legal. What I read made me physically sick. Have the lawyers draft the prenup, Karen wrote to Wesley. Make it airtight. No loopholes. If she tries to leave, she loses everything, including that little company of hers. We need it as insurance. Wesley's reply was worse. Don't worry, Mother. Lana trusts me completely. She'll sign anything I put in front of her. I forwarded everything to Bella, who showed it to her law firm's partner. This is corporate manipulation, he said. They're trying to acquire your company through marriage instead of proper channels. It's not illegal, but it's dirty. Then let's get dirty, I said. We spent the next week crafting my counter prenup. Every clause was designed to protect not just me, but to expose their true motives. If they wanted to play games, I'd make sure everyone saw the rulebook. Standing at my office window that evening, watching the sunset over Atlanta's skyline, I felt something shift inside me. The hurt was still there, but now it had purpose. Direction. My phone buzzed. A text from Wesley. Missing you, beautiful. Can't wait to make you Mrs. Crawford. As I stared at his message, another email notification popped up. This one was from an anonymous address signed only Zed. I used to work for Crawford Industries, it read. I saw what they did to the last person who threatened their plans. If you're really marrying into that family, you need to know the truth. Attached are documents showing exactly what kind of business they really run. I clicked the attachment and my hands started shaking. This wasn't just about a prenup anymore. This was about fraud cover-ups and a family that thought they were above the law. Game on, I whispered to my reflection in the window. Behind me, Atlanta's lights twinkled like stars. Witnesses to a war about to begin. The next morning, I met Zed Zara in a small cafe far from the business district. She was elegant, composed, but I could see fear in her eyes as she glanced around the room. They'll destroy you if they catch us meeting, she said, stirring her untouched coffee. Like they destroyed you? I asked. Zara's laugh was bitter. I was their CFO for 6 years. Then I noticed discrepancies in the books. Shell companies, fake investments, money moving where it shouldn't. And you reported it. I tried. She pulled out a thumb drive. I went to Wesley first, thinking he might not be involved. He smiled, thanked me for my concern, and the next day security was escorting me out. Karen had somehow discovered old photos from my college days. Nothing illegal, just embarrassing. They threatened to send them to every business contact I had. I took the drive, my engagement ring catching the light. Wesley knew about all this. Honey Wesley orchestrated half of it. Zara leaned forward. That prenup they're planning. It's not just about controlling you. They need your company's clean reputation to hide their transactions. That evening, I had dinner with Wesley at our favorite restaurant. I watched him order wine charm, the waiter flash that perfect smile. Then I dropped my first test. I'm thinking of expanding the company, I said casually. There's this charity foundation interested in partnering. A charity? Wesley's eyes lit up too quickly. Which one? The Global Education Fund. They want to route their donations through our platform. Wesley's fork paused halfway to his mouth. I'd made up the charity name, but he didn't know that. That's interesting, he said carefully. You should let Mother take a look at the contract. She has experience with charitable foundations. Of course, I smiled. I'd love her input. 2 days later, Karen called me. Darling, about this Global Education Fund. I've done some research. Let's discuss how we can integrate it with our family's business interests. I recorded the whole conversation. Bella helped me set up more traps. We leaked fake business opportunities, watched how quickly they tried to sink their hooks in. Each time, Wesley and Karen revealed more of their plan. We need a code name, Bella said one night as we reviewed the evidence. Something fitting. Karma trigger, I suggested, thinking of Zara's thumb drive, burning a hole in my desk drawer. Perfect. Bella typed something on her laptop. I've got press contacts ready. One word from you and everything goes public. Not yet, I said. First, I want to know how deep this goes. I started asking Wesley innocent questions about his past, about old girlfriends, college friends, business deals. He lied smoothly about everything. But now I knew his tells the way his left eye twitched slightly, how he'd touch his watch when nervous. Then I found the message that changed everything. A text exchange between Wesley and my ex Kenny from right before our engagement. Wesley bet's still on. Whoever marries richer by 35 wins. Kenny? She's not rich though. Wesley. Her company's growing. Perfect timing. Mom's already planning how to absorb it. Kenny Coldman. She actually loves you. Wesley. That's what makes it so easy. I stared at the screenshots until my vision blurred. Then I called Kenny. We need to talk, I said when he answered. About a bet you made with Wesley. Silence on the line. Then, how did you meet me tomorrow? Unless you want me to forward these messages to every contact we share. The next day, Kenny sat across from me at a different cafe, looking like he hadn't slept. I can explain, he started. No need. I cut him off. Instead, you're going to help me destroy him. Kenny blinked. What? I slid a folder across the table. Sign this NDA. Then I'll tell you exactly how you can make things right. He picked up the pen, hand shaking slightly. Lana, what are you planning? I thought of Wesley's smug smile, of Karen's condescending tone, of Zara's ruined career. Justice, I said simply. Want to help. Kenny's confession hit harder than I expected. We sat in his car in the parking lot, rain drumming on the roof as he played back old recordings from his phone. I saved everything he said. Felt guilty, I guess. Wesley's voice filled the car. She's perfect for this. Self-made, ambitious, totally in love with me. Mom's already planning how to strip her company down once we're married. Another voice. Karen's. The girl's got good instincts. I'll give her that. But she's naive. Thinks love conquers all. Laughter. Remember what we did to that whistleblower? My hands clenched into fists. When was this? Right before he proposed. Kenny wouldn't meet my eyes. I should have warned you. Why didn't you? Because I was jealous and bitter. He finally looked at me. But this is worse than I imagined. I pulled out my laptop, opened a document. Then help me make it right. Tell me everything. For the next 2 hours, Kenny detailed years of Wesley's schemes. The women he'd manipulated, the business partners he'd betrayed. Each story made my blood boil hotter. Back home, I called Bella. I need the prenup modified. Add a morality clause? What kind? One that says any evidence of fraud, manipulation, or criminal intent discovered before signing invalidates the entire marriage contract. That's brilliant. I could hear her typing. They'll never expect it because they think you don't know anything yet. Exactly. I walked to my window, watched lightning split the sky. Also, I need cameras. Good ones. The next day, while Wesley was at work, I had tiny cameras installed throughout our shared apartment. Within hours, they captured gold. Wesley pacing the living room on the phone with Karen. Of course, she suspects nothing. Yes, Mother. I've got the prenup ready. No, she doesn't know about the investigator we hired. I froze. Investigator. Later that night, I pretended to sleep while Wesley made another call in our bathroom. Did you find anything on her mother? Perfect. Keep digging. If there's dirt, we can use it as leverage if she tries to back out. They were investigating my mom, my single mother who'd worked 3 jobs to put me through college, who taught me never to let anyone make me feel small. The next morning, I got an alert from Marcus. He'd traced payments from the Crawfords to a private investigator named Duke. The target, Sarah Hunter, my mother. I called her immediately. Mom, we need to talk. Are you sitting down? What's wrong, honey? Wedding stress. No. I took a deep breath. Has anyone been asking about your past? Old friends reaching out suddenly. Silence. Then how did you know? Mom. Some man called last week. Said he was writing a story about successful single mothers. Her voice shook. He knew things, Lana. About your father. My father. The man who'd abandoned us when I was 2. The man my mother never talked about. What things? He wasn't just a deadbeat who ran off. She was crying now. He's in prison. Has been for 20 years. Armed robbery gone wrong. The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. Why didn't you tell me? Because it doesn't matter who he was. You're nothing like him. You're everything good I ever did in this world. I closed my eyes, feeling a strange calm settle over me. Mom, listen carefully. In the next few weeks, people might try to use this against us, but I promise you, they'll regret it. Lana, what's going on? Justice, I said, echoing my words to Kenny. Just trust me. After hanging up, I sent a text to Bella. Karma trigger needs an upgrade. They went after my mom. Her response was immediate. Those bastards. What do you need? I looked at my reflection in the window, saw my mother's determination in my eyes. Everything we've got. It's time to go nuclear. The wedding rehearsal felt like a carefully choreographed dance of lies. I walked down the aisle practicing my steps while Karen watched from the front pew, her smile sharp as a knife. Your dress is lovely, she said. During the break, though, perhaps a bit ambitious for someone of your background. Bella, standing nearby, didn't miss a beat. Actually, Lana's company just landed the Miller account. The dress probably cost less than your monthly Botox budget. Karen's smile froze. How spirited your maid of honor is. Isn't she? I touched Bella's arm. She's also the best corporate lawyer in Atlanta. Such a blessing to have her reviewing things for me. Oh. The color drained from Karen's face. Later during dinner, I excused myself to the bathroom, but lingered in the hallway. Sure enough, Wesley followed his mother outside for a cigarette. She pretended not to smoke. My phone recorded everything through their open window. The investigator found something. Karen hissed. Her father's a convicted felon. Armed robbery. It's perfect. Does it matter? Wesley sounded bored. Once she signs the prenup. Of course it matters. What if the press finds out? Our reputation? Mother, relax. We'll get her to sign it all away first. Then who cares about her criminal genetics? I texted Bella. Got it. Send the package to Rose. An hour later, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. "Is this Lana?" The voice was hesitant. "I'm Rose, Wesley's ex. Your friend sent me some interesting documents." "Did you read them?" "Yes." Her voice hardened. "He did the same thing to me. The prenup, the sweet lies, everything. But you've got proof of what they really are." We met in a 24-hour diner at midnight. Rose was beautiful with sad eyes and nervous hands that shredded napkins as she talked. "We were engaged for a year," she said. "Then 2 days before the wedding, he brings this prenup. When I refused to sign, Karen threatened to ruin my father's business. I ran. Did you ever want revenge?" Rose looked up. "Every day." I slid a folder across the table. "Then help me take them down." "All of them." She read through my plan, eyes widening. "This is incredible, but also terrifying. They'll come after you with everything they have. Let them try." I showed her the thumb drive from Zara. "I've got everything. The fraud, the threats, the cover-ups. Tomorrow I'm sending it all to every major news outlet in the country. Time-delayed emails set to arrive during the ceremony. Why wait? Why go through with the wedding at all?" I thought of Wesley's smug smile, of Karen's condescension, of my mother's tears. Because I want them to feel safe first. I want them standing in front of everyone they know, thinking they've won when it all comes crashing down. Rose's smile turned wicked. Want one more nail for their coffin. I kept all Wesley's letters. The ones where he detailed exactly how he and Karen destroyed my family's company after I left. My phone buzzed. A text from Wesley. "Where are you, baby?" "Mother's asking." "Coming, my love," I typed back, then looked at Rose there. "You in?" "All the way." She pulled out her own phone. "I've got a few journalist friends who'd love to hear my story." Perfect timing for a wedding day expose, don't you think? Back at the rehearsal dinner, I slipped into my seat beside Wesley. He kissed my cheek, his lips cold. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Perfect," I said, watching Karen whisper something to the wedding planner. "Just finalizing some details for tomorrow." Cold feet. He tried to joke. I thought of the email set to blast tomorrow of Rose's story, ready to break of Zara's evidence, waiting to destroy their empire. Not at all, I smiled. I can't wait for everyone to see what I've planned. The morning of my wedding dawned bright and clear. I sat at my vanity watching the makeup artist work, while my phone buzzed with updates. Bella Press is in position. 3 major networks. Zara board members confirmed attending front row. Rose story goes live in 2 hours. Kenny security cameras working. Everything will be recorded. My mother knocked and entered, already teary-eyed. "You look beautiful, sweetheart." "Thanks, Mom." I hugged her carefully, avoiding the makeup. "Remember what I said. No matter what happens today, stay in your seat." "Promise." She searched my face. "Lana, what are you planning?" "Justice," I whispered. "Trust me." The cathedral filled with Atlanta's finest, just as Karen wanted. Business titans, society mavens, political players, all the people she was desperate to impress, all the witnesses I needed. Bella appeared in my bridal suite, tablet in hand. Everything set. Last chance to back out. I stood smoothing my dress. "Is the prenup in my bouquet?" "Right under the roses." She handed me the flowers. "The cameras will catch everything?" "Perfect." I checked my phone one last time. 20 minutes until the first email blast. The wedding coordinator knocked. "It's time." I could hear the string quartet, the murmur of guests, the rustle of expensive clothing. Then Wesley appeared right on cue with that leather folder. "Baby," he said, all fake concern. "There's just one tiny thing before we start." I took the prenup, pretending to read it for the first time. My hands shook, not from fear but anticipation. "Wesley," I whispered. "This would leave me with nothing. It's just business, sweetheart. He touched my cheek. Sign it and we can have our perfect day. I looked up at him, this man I'd thought I loved, and saw only a stranger wearing a familiar mask. Okay, I said softly. I'll sign yours if you sign mine. The look of confusion on his face was priceless. What? I pulled out my own folder, enjoying how his eyes widened. Fair's fair, right? He opened it, started reading. I watched his face change as he realized what he was seeing. Proof of every lie, every scheme, every betrayal. This is impossible, he stuttered. You can't. Where did you? What's wrong? I stepped closer. It's just business, sweetheart. Wait, he grabbed my arm. How did you find out? Mother said you'd never. The choir hit a perfect high note, covering his words, but not before several guests turned our way, curious about the delay. Sign it, Wesley. I kept my voice sweet. The guests are waiting. Your mother's waiting. All those important people you invited. They're all waiting. His hand trembled as he held the pen. Lana, please. You don't understand what this will do. Oh, but I do. I checked my watch. And in about 15 minutes, everyone else will understand too. What does that mean? I smiled, thinking of all the emails queued to send all the evidence about to go public. All the cameras rolling right now. Sign the paper, Wesley, or I walk out there right now and tell everyone exactly why you really wanted to marry me. He looked toward the cathedral doors, probably calculating his odds of stopping me. Then his mother appeared, face tight with concern. What's the delay? She demanded. Everyone's waiting. Wesley looked at me, then at his mother, then at my prenup. I saw the moment he realized he was trapped. This wasn't supposed to happen, he said, voice cracking. Karen told me you'd already done it. The nearby guests fell silent. Karen's face went white. Done what? I asked loudly enough for everyone to hear. Tell me, Wesley, what exactly did your mother say I'd done? And that's when everything started to unravel. Mother said you'd signed the original prenup last week. Wesley blurted out, his voice echoing through the suddenly silent cathedral entrance. She said you'd already agreed to transfer your company's assets. Karen lunged forward, trying to shut him up, but it was too late. Transfer my assets. I repeated loudly. Why would I do that? The wedding guests were turning in their seats now, phones starting to buzz with the first wave of news alerts I'd scheduled. Wesley, darling, Karen's voice was sharp. This isn't the time. Oh, I think it's exactly the time. I nodded to Bella, who pressed a button on her phone. The massive screen we'd installed for the wedding photo slideshow flickered to life. Instead of romantic photos, it showed emails, bank transfers, secret recordings. Wesley's face drained of color as he watched himself on screen, laughing with Kenny about their bet. Turn it off, he demanded. Can't I, said sweetly. Just like you can't stop the press releases going out right now, or the SEC investigation that's about to begin. Karen stepped forward, her designer dress rustling. You little careful, Bella interrupted. Everything's being recorded. The cathedral doors burst open. Rose walked in, followed by two reporters I recognized from local news stations. Hello, Wesley, she said. Remember me. The last bride you tried to destroy. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I saw Wesley's godfather, a prominent board member, stand up, his face thunderous. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. Would you like to explain, Wesley? I turned to him. Or should I tell everyone about the shell companies, the fake charitable foundations? How about what really happened to Zara when she discovered the fraud? As if on cue, Zara stood up from her seat in the middle pew. More gasps. Wesley grabbed my arm. Stop this now. Or what? I pulled free. You'll ruin me like you ruined Rose. Like you tried to ruin my mother with your investigator. That was business, he hissed. No, I said, my voice carrying across the now silent church. This is business. I walked to the altar, turned to face the crowd. I apologize to everyone who came expecting a wedding, but I think you deserve to know what you're really witnessing. Phones were out everywhere now recording. Karen tried to reach the screen controls, but Bella blocked her path. For the past 2 months, I've gathered evidence of corporate fraud, market manipulation, and personal blackmail, orchestrated by the Crawford family. Everything has been sent to the SEC, the FBI, and every major news outlet in the country. Wesley lunged for the podium, but Kenny, right on schedule, stepped in his way. The prenup they tried to force me to sign today would have given them control of my company, I said. Just like they tried with Rose's family business, just like they've done to others. Lies, Karen shouted. We'll sue you for defamation. Please do, Bella spoke up. Discovery would be fascinating. The cathedral erupted in chaos. Reporters were shouting questions. Board members were rushing out already on their phones. Wesley's father, silent until now, slumped in his seat with his head in his hands. You've ruined everything, Wesley said, his voice breaking. I walked up to him close enough to whisper, No, you did that yourself. I just made sure everyone saw who you really are. I turned to the stunned crowd, my voice clear and strong. This isn't a wedding. This is a reckoning. Bella appeared at my side with my coat. Behind her, I could see Rose talking to reporters, Zara sharing documents with board members, and Kenny recording everything. Ready to go? Bella asked. I took one last look at Wesley and Karen standing amid the wreckage of their carefully constructed lies. Actually, I smiled. I think I'll stay a bit longer. I wouldn't want to miss the show. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing since I walked out of that cathedral. News alerts, text messages, even interviews. But the message that matters most is from the SEC. Investigation proceeding. Please remain available for further questions. I'm sitting in my empty apartment, champagne in hand, watching the sunset paint Atlanta's skyline in shades of revenge. My wedding dress lies in a heap by the door. I'll donate it tomorrow. My phone lights up with Wesley's name again. You've destroyed my family, his text reads. We could have had everything. I type back, you had everything. You just wanted more. Then I block his number. Another message pops up. Karen's lawyer threatening legal action. I forward it to Bella, who responds instantly. Let them try. Your prenup was ironclad. Everything you revealed was already public record or legally obtained. They're just making noise. My mother calls next. The reporters finally left my house, she says. Are you okay? Better than okay, I tell her. The board of directors called an emergency meeting. They're cooperating with the investigation. And Wesley's running out of friends fast. I take another sip of champagne. Turns out lots of people were waiting for a chance to speak up. They just needed someone to go first. My doorbell rings. It's Kenny, looking uncomfortable in his rumpled suit. I brought pizza, he says, holding up a box. Figured you might not have eaten. I let him in but keep my distance. He sets the pizza down and turns to face me. I'm sorry, he says. For everything. The bet not warning you sooner. Karma got you too, I remind him. You lost that bet, remember? He laughs, but it's hollow. Yeah, guess I deserve that. My phone buzzes again. A news alert. The Crawford family company's stock is plummeting. Board members are resigning. There's talk of a federal investigation expanding beyond just securities fraud. Was it worth it? Kenny asks quietly. Before I can answer, another text arrives. It's from Rose. They're trying to claim I'm part of some conspiracy against them, but 3 more ex-girlfriends just came forward with similar stories. We're all meeting with the DA tomorrow. I show Kenny the message. Ask them if it was worth it. He nods slowly. What will you do now? Run my company, help with the investigation. Maybe write about it someday. You should, he says. People should know how you beat them at their own game. After he leaves, I open my laptop and create a new document. The cursor blinks waiting. My phone lights up one last time. It's Zara. Board just voted to remove Wesley and Karen from all positions. Effective immediately. Thought you'd want to know. I smile and begin typing. On my wedding day, my fiancé handed me a prenup, thinking he was the one in control. But what happened next? Let's just say he should have read the fine print. This isn't just a story about a ruined wedding. It's about what happens when people mistake kindness for weakness. When they think money and power make them untouchable, they forgot the most important lesson. Karma doesn't need an invitation to show up at your wedding. I posted anonymously on Reddit, then walked to my window. The city lights shine like just as bright and unforgiving. Somewhere out there, the Crawfords are watching their empire crumble, discovering that power built on lies has a way of collapsing all at once. But here in my apartment, with evidence safe in my hands and truth finally in the open, I raise my glass to the skyline. To karma, I whisper, "Thanks for making my wedding day unforgettable." My phone buzzes with the first Reddit notification. Someone's already given my post an award. I smile and start typing a response. But wait, there's more. Let me tell you about the prenup they didn't.